Hey guys, Dr. Nate here. So winter is pretty much upon us, at least here in Calgary. We got our first snowstorm on last Saturday. Um, Running in tights again. Just got back from, I did about 8K this morning. Did the first 3K with Amari here. As you can see, she's tired, a little bit upset that I'm bothering her. And then went out and did another 5 or 6K by myself. Did it in the shoe that I want to talk about today, which is the Saucony Endorphin Shift 2. I wanted to do a long-term review of this shoe. This is my third version of it. This is the previous version that this one's replacing. As you can see, it's in pretty good condition. I had about 900 kilometers of running on this shoe, and then turned it into just an everyday walking shoe, which I probably put about 10 kilometers walking the dog every day. And so it's probably has about 1,500 kilometers on it. I wanted to give my thoughts and feelings about it after that. And that's like I said, that's the second one of these guys that I did that on. And now I'm on to the third pair. So first, let's just talk about the specs of this shoe. So it has a 38 millimeter heel, 34 millimeters under the forefoot, makes for a 4 millimeter drop. It has Saucony's PWRRRUN foam, which is just an EVA foam underneath the foot. And it does have that Speedroll technology, which is just their rocker. Again, this isn't Saucony's plated. It doesn't have a plate in it. So Saucony, if you're familiar with the Endorphin lineup, they have 3 different models. So they have Endorphin Shift the Endorphin Shift 2. They now have the 3, which is their everyday training shoe. Then they have the Endorphin Speed 2, or they have the 3 now, Endorphin Speed, which is they market it as your workout shoe, so it has a nylon plate in it and Pebax foam, which is sort of their super foam. And then the next step up is the Endorphin Pro, which again has the same Pebax foam but has a carbon plate in it. So that's their quote-unquote super shoe. And so that's sort of how the lineup goes. Again, this shoe doesn't have a plate in it. They do have blown rubber outsole, which they don't have a lot of material on the outsole, but I'll tell you later in the durability faction of this report that it doesn't seem to matter. This shoe's durable. The upper is just a mesh upper. It's nice. And then, yeah, that's the lacing's just their flat lacing. So they say that this shoe comes in at I believe it's 295 grams or 10.4 ounces, US size 9. This is a 9.5. Let's see what we're measuring this guy at. So we have it at 291.9, which is a little bit lighter than they say. They are supposed to be shaving an ounce off this shoe in the Endorphin Shift 3, which has just recently been released here in Canada. And I'm looking forward to get my hands on because I've loved the Endorphin Shift 1, loved the Endorphin Shift 2. The 3, if they can shave an ounce off of it but keep the same qualities, that shoe is going to be, it's unfathomable what could be the result of that. Like, just amazing. Because that is my one negative about this shoe, is it's a little bit heavy. Coming in at almost 300 grams. Again, you should be able to do better than that with today's modern technology and the foams and the uppers and that kind of stuff. You should be able to get a shoe significantly lighter than that. So that's why I'm looking forward. If they're able to shave 30 grams off this and make it into that like 260 or like 9.4 ounces, again, put it more on par like the new Pegasus that I just reviewed a few weeks ago. Very similar to that. So that'll be exciting. So next I want to review this shoe on 3 different categories, like I've done in the previous video. So we go fit, we go ride, and then durability. And then at the end, I'll give it a cumulative score in how I sort of rate it. So let's start with the fit. So I'd give this guy an 8.5 out of 10 in the fit component. For my foot, the shoe fit me really, really nicely. A reason why I didn't go higher in the fit is because currently in the 2, they just offer standard widths. That is changing in the Endorphin Shift 3, where they are offering like a 2E width in the men's and D width in the women's. So if you do have a little bit of a wider foot, it's going to be able to accommodate you that much better. But currently in the 2, they just have that regular standard D and B width. So that's why I would take a little bit of points off. I found the toe box was nice and accommodating, was wide enough that your foot didn't feel too squished in there, but again, not too wide that you felt like you were swimming or anything, or felt like there was any rubbing back and forth. It is true to size, the 9.5. I'm always a 9.5 in most shoes, and this 9.5 fits me great. Next onto the laces. That's a component of the fit. I find that they are, like I said, that flat lace. I've never had an issue with them coming undone. I usually do a double knot in all my shoes. And yeah, haven't had any issue with them coming undone mid-run. The tongue has some structure to it, which is nice. Prevents any lace bite. Haven't had any issues in that department. The heel cup, so they do have a little bit more of a rigid heel cup on this shoe, which is nice to keep your heel secure in there. Haven't noticed any slipping up and down or any wearing. Haven't got any blisters in the Achilles or the heel at all. Overall, the fit, yeah, has been great, like I mentioned. Next, moving on to the ride. So I give these guys a 9.5 out of 10 on the ride. This shoe, I would say, is capable of everything. From your easy day miles to long runs to speed work to tempos. I've used this shoe for everything. It's felt good for everything. Again, having that, so they have the Speedroll rocker on here. Like I said, there's no plate, but it is fairly stiff. As you can see, like it doesn't have much give to it, so it does help keep that momentum from like the heel, from the strike to the takeoff phase in the gate. You are able to carry that momentum through, and it doesn't feel like every time you're landing, you're hitting the brakes, which sometimes will happen in like a heavier shoe that doesn't have a rocker on it. So that's where they can get away with it being a little bit heavy, since they do have that rocker on it. Again, that's one negative that I would take away from this shoe, is it is a little bit heavier. But overall, it doesn't impact the ride too much. It's nice and cushioned. Again, Saucony says that this is in their structured cushioning category. So what's that mean? As shoes are sort of trending away from this more stability and neutral categories and sort of having a little bit more of a blend of these things, they do have some components that make this shoe a little bit more stable. Like having a little bit of a wider base underfoot and then having this more structured heel cup. It does add some stability components to the shoe and just helps with the ride overall. Having this shoe at a 4mm drop really makes it feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more natural. I think if you were to have, like, say, a 12mm drop on this shoe, it just wouldn't work quite as nice, and you might feel like you're up on a high heel a little bit. Again, so I really like that about this shoe. Other than that, yeah, your foot feels nice and secure in it while you're running too. So there's really no issues with that too. Yeah, you have a lot of cushioning, like I said, with that 38 to 34 underfoot. So there's a lot of foam underneath you. Keep you running on those long runs. It feels great. Next, let's get onto the durability. I'm going to start off with a statement that I haven't come across a shoe that has been more durable than this guy. I give it a 9.5 out of 10 on the durability scale. Let's pull up the previous version. So this is the one that I am just replacing. As you can see underneath, I mean, this one's pretty dirty. I took it on a hike by accident. But as you can sort of see, the rubber, there isn't much difference in the amount of rubber that's underneath it. At the end of this shoe, like I said, I have probably like 1,500 kilometers. That would probably be on the conservative side of how many kilometers I have in this shoe with walking the dog and stuff, everything after I retired it. But the rubber on these Saucony shoes, I mean, this is across all of Saucony's line, whether it be the Saucony Ride, the Kinvara, the Endorphin Shift, the Endorphin Pro, whatever they're using for their rubber, it's so durable. It holds up in pretty much every shoe. The life of the shoe, the rubber is still good by the end of it. And that's not something that I can say about most companies. So that's something I'm really impressed about with these guys. Again, some of the cosmetic things, like, so this upper is starting to tear there, as you can see. That also started to happen after I was done running in it and when I've walked in it more. Again, on this side too. Other than that, and so you can see it's losing a little bit of its support through there too, so it's a little bit less rigid. But again, all these stuff happened after I retired it, after about 900 kilometers of running on it, and then transitioned it into a walking shoe. So most of you guys that's probably going to be the life of your shoe anyways, so I wouldn't have any worries about this shoe not lasting the whole time. What I did actually get, and again, this was after I finished running in it. It's not in this shoe, it was on the right side, but some tearing through here, right where the midsole and the upper meet. I have found that on a bunch of different brands, and I think it must just be whatever glue or however they're joining those two things, but leads to a little bit of a fault there. But again, that was after I was done running in it, so there's no issues that I have with that. So overall, I would give these guys a 9 out of 10. This is, I think I said this earlier in the video, the best running shoe I've ever run in. I love this guy, and I love the one. I'm looking forward to getting the 3 underfoot too. Just everything about it has been so comfortable, so versatile. Like I said, the durability has been great. If you were looking for a pair of shoes, I've recommended this shoe to, I think, 4 other close friends or family members who have gone out, bought it, used it for running. All of them reported back that they loved it. So including myself, that's 5 out of 5. I can't guarantee for you that you're going to love it because everyone's different. Everyone has a different foot type. What I would say, go into your local running store, try it on, get it underfoot, and see how it feels under your foot. It might be something that you end up falling in love with, like I did. Yeah, so that's what I have for the Endorphin Shift 2. Feel free to leave a comment if you've worn this shoe, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. And we'll see you guys out there on the road running. Take care, guys.